Welcome back, everybody. We hope that you enjoyed our last episode, which was about mine and Father Tone's experience with Totus Tuus. And as always, today I am joined with Father Tone.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're actually joined with a special guest that we have. His name is Yui. And Yui, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are?
Hello, everyone. I'm Seminarian Yui, and I am a second year theology. I study at Manalai here for 4 years now. So yeah, from the Diocese of San Jose and from California. So we completing our studies over here, seminary formation.
Sounds amazing. So I understand that you have quite an interesting story about how you came from Vietnam to America. So if you could just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I would say, yeah, it's just really long story. We were, I think, we were also part of the, you call it the boat people. So my family and I we left Vietnam, and then so it was during the time when I think they started trying to close out the refugees. So we left on a boat for 7 days, and then we landed first in Malaysia, and then they because they closed out the refugees, they don't want any refugees, so they built us a boat, and then they sent us out to sea, to tell us to go to Indonesia because that's where they have the refugee camp there. So we went over there, and then yeah, we landed there. There we stayed for about 6 years at the refugee camp because we felt the I would say the interview process. Usually they have this interview process more like it's similar to the like the asylum, right? They don't like why you fleeing Vietnam. And at the time, my grandfather, he was working for the South Vietnamese government, and he had to go through re-education camp and everything. And my dad, because like of his relationship as the son, he was worried that he might get persecuted. So anyway, my dad told him all the stories like that, and I think, I don't know what happened, but maybe they didn't believe or something. So yeah, we failed the interview process, and we ended up staying there for 6 years. And 6 years, and I think at the time I don't know how, and then I went back to Vietnam. At that time I was about 14 years old, and then when we went back to Vietnam, then the U.S. had this program, like basically, okay, if to help the Vietnamese to resettle to the U.S. If you came back to Vietnam, the U.S. would help you. So that's what we did. We went back, and finally they help us resettle to the U.S. So I came here and I started my high school here. I think the time when I came here, I didn't speak any English, so that was I think that it was challenging. But for us, coming from a poor family, I was very motivated because I just want to help my family build a better future. I know that my parents, they sacrificed a lot for me, and I just want to do all I can, especially through my studying, to help them to have this better life. Because I mean, we were really poor. We were living together in one room up until I was 16 years old. Even when I first landed in America, I was in high school, and then we were just staying in one room, one small room, the four of us. And yeah, but I think because of my scenario, it motivated me to study really well, study really hard. So I think I did really well in high school. Within 1 year, I moved out of the ESL program, and after 3 years in high school, I transferred to college. And then after college, I think I continue on with my the PhD. And yeah, I was just was really motivated. I want to do all that I can. And then finally, after I graduate with the PhD, I then I moved to we moved to the Silicon Valley, where that's where I started working. And I just remember when the first time I just got a job offer, right? And my parents was like, "Oh, let's go buy a house." I was telling them like, "Mom, I haven't started working yet. I mean, just a job offer. How can we buy a house? You know, we need to make some money first." But they were like, "Oh, you know, I heard from people that, you know, all you need is a job offer to buy a house." And that actually, that was what happened. Like you only needed a job offer to buy a house because they can see, you know, like how much money you make, because as a software engineer, you know, they can see that the little job offer with the number, and they're like, you know, this guy can easily afford because this job offer tells that, you know, he makes a lot of money. So yeah, that's what we did. We went and we buy a house, and yeah, so that's basically the journey.
Wow.
That's still a short journey. I mean, if I were to explain this, it would be like it can take the whole day about what really happened at sea, what really happened in the refugee camps. We were malnourished. We were yeah, like badly treated. I mean, we didn't have enough food. There were days when we only ate rice and salt, and there were days basically we don't have a. I walked bare feet. My parents was what is it? They basically they had only like one pair of clothes, right? And then they would have to like change, like wash the clothes and then dry and then keep wearing it again. You know, like it was just like, but through what was amazing about the refugee camp was that we had this chapel, that chapel that because like for us there was nothing else to do, no school, nothing. For us, we chapel was my refuge. Like it was just that little church upon the hill, which is organized by the this Indonesian priest, right? He would help to celebrate mass, and then that was the place where I would just go. I go and I think because like it was very appealing. They just like, oh, if you go to mass, then we will give you rewards. So I was, you know, attracted by it. So that I would go to daily mass because of it. But the most important thing is that it was a place where you can hang out with other people, that you can, you know, forget about like all the crazy suffering that, you know, like your family going through. For me, I was just an innocent kid, but I was just like really, that was the time where I got to be with other kids, and that's in that context, it was like being in the house of the Lord playing. And there was this, I just remember as well, there was this huge statue of Mary, and it was like she's like standing on the ship, and we were just, usually we gather under that. We were just playing hide and seek. So it was just really beautiful memories. Yeah, but that was a short version of my story, how, you know, I went all the way from a little child in the refugee camp, went back to Vietnam, to America, and achieving this American dream of, you know, having a job, helping my parents, buying a house, and now finally, finally I just enter the seminary, and I will tell you, I can tell you a little bit more how what happened.
Yeah, so just backtrack a little bit about Yui's journey and why we asked Yui to give his vocation journey today. So I met Yui when I was at Mundelein as a I think as a deacon, right? Yeah.
I
so,
yeah, I think as a deacon. Yep.
Yeah, so I listened to your story and I said, wow, you came from Vietnam, like a boat to people, because when I came to the USA, I had more opportunity to talk to the people who have flee from Vietnam after the collapse of the South, but most of them are older. So when I have conversation, they would tell me about the prison time and everything. But like talking to you, it's just like a young kid at that time, right? And then he flee from Vietnam and then went through so many things in Indonesia and his experience living in the refugee camp, and then like he tell us, right, yeah, study very hard in the USA and become a PhD and had a stable job and then decided to become priest. So I was amazed. And then September is the month that we pray for vocations. We pray and we support seminary. So that's why Ben and I decided to invite Yui for this podcast to share his vocation journey. So you can when you share about like the chapel in the refugee camp is the place of refuge for you, so that you can hang out with the other people without any worry or any concerns. Um, it's very beautiful to see because it's applied for nowadays as well, right? When we go to the church and then yeah, pretty much we trust the Lord that is going to take care of everything, and a place that we can pray for one another and build up the community as well.
Yeah, it really is like an amazing story, and kind of seeing like how you came here and like all the steps is really something special to be admired about. And you talked about this a little bit. You talked about having, this nice job in Silicon Valley, and so how did you end up becoming a seminarian? How did you like first feel the calling to the priesthood?
Yeah, I was really surprised as well. I was like, what really happened? Like, yeah, it was only, I think it was recent, like 5 years ago. So I would say, like my faith when I was in the refugee camp, because I went to daily mass, it was strong. But after the refugee camp, when I enter when I came to America, I was falling away from my faith. I was like, I just did the minimum. Sometimes I didn't even go to Sunday masses, you know. And but one thing I know that I still, there's something inside of me, like just like I still need to try my best to go to mass, because that's my identity. Like as a little kid growing up, so that's every Sunday at even though I was at college, I was trying to go to this on mass on campus, Newman Center. So it was there that I met this this nun. And anyway, so fast forward, while I was working in the Silicon Valley, I bumped into this nun, and she introduced me to prison ministry. So in prison ministry, I was like, I was really worried, but she's like, oh, I will be with you. And so she was like, okay, I will be with you. We can start like baby step at a time. How about you just play the guitar and I will sing? Well, so that's what we did. And eventually she asked me to lead like a Bible sharing in prison. So I did this for both the men and the women. Now I remember one time I was doing this the Bible sharing in for the women inmates. I went in there, and one lady, she was like, "You don't have a girlfriend, do you?" So I was like, so I tried to lie to her that by telling like, yes, I do. I have a girlfriend, but she was like, no, you don't. So, but anyway, yeah, it was just like those funny moments, the humorous moments help lighten us up, and help us to share our story, our journey together. Like it was the first time that I see like the humanity part of myself and of her humanity too. And then I started to reflect on my life, and I was like, wow, I got everything. I got everything, but yet I complaining about my life, and yet here this lady, she didn't have, she didn't have anything, and yet she still has such great love for God, and she's able to utter the words like, Jesus, I love you. I know that you put me here for a reason. So it was just like from that moment on, I realized I needed to do something about my life. I just so that I told my boss like I needed a month off of work to basically reflect on my life. So during that month, I tried to get closer to the Lord, and it happened that my aunt, she wanted to to sign me up for a pilgrimage to Holy Land in Fatima. So that's what I did. I signed up for the pilgrimage and went to Fatima, Lourdes, and during that whole trip, I was able to take some time to reflect, and I just realized that my whole life has been a blessing from God, and I can see especially that I can experience the love of our Blessed Mother Mary, especially through the nun. Her name is Mary Ann. Mary Ann is basically Mary and Anna, which is Mother Mary, and my mom is her name is Anna. So that I'm able to experience the love of Mary for me, the love of God for me throughout my whole life. And then I came back, I was like, this is it. I just want to dedicate my whole life to God, and there's nowhere I'd rather be. I just want to be in the house of the Lord for the rest of my life, and I want to enjoy the abundance of His goodness, and I want to bring His good news to everyone. I want to basically tell the world about the joy that I have, since a little kid, and that I'm experiencing right now, and you can feel that blessing, and I want to share that with everyone. And it just everything was just falling into place, and now that now that I'm here, 4th year in the seminary, and 2nd year theology, I think it's been a great blessing. I'm loving every moment of it.
Yes, wow, that's that's a wonderful journey, and I admire you when you think there's something going on and you need more time to reflect, and then you were brave enough to go to your boss and ask him to take off a month to reflect upon it. I really admire that fact, because I don't know how many of us nowadays that we are brave enough to say, right, Lord, I need some quiet time to reflect, and I have to go to the society and say that, right?
Yeah, I really don't know how I did it. I did probably must have been the grace of God. I was like, making a lot of money. Like, even my boss was like, you know what? Why don't you just you can go to the seminary. After a year, call me back. The job will be here for you. If you want to come back, change your mind, I will be here. But I was just like, also the boss was so supportive. I just don't know. Like, I don't know, but I don't know how I got that courage. I think it must have been the grace of God to give me that courage to say, like, I needed to do this. I need to search for something that means missing, something that I felt like it wasn't fulfilling, even though I had everything.
Wow, that really is amazing. So, since you've entered the seminary, as you said, you've been there for 4 years. So, is there something like a particular memory that stands out as something that you look back upon fondly, or like what are some of the best aspects that you see in the seminary?
Yeah, so I think one of the best aspects about the seminary is brothers living in community. So I really can see here we have brothers coming from all walks of life. So we also here we have and because I'm basically coming from the workforce, so I'm a little bit older than the other brothers, but I really admire the other brothers who are just like really giving the Lord the time and to be able to discern, right after college. So and some of the brothers also right after high school, and then they went to minor seminary. So it's just really amazing to see. And I know one of the brothers in my class, he's I think he's in the army too, and I really admire his story. How he said one time he was jumping off the airplane with the parachute, and then it was somehow malfunction, and then he just fell flat face on the ground, and he had a near-death experience. And when he woke up, he was like, God, I wanted to dedicate the rest of my life for you. So they're very inspiring. And I think there are many moments we love praying together. I just remember my first my PT year, we would pray the rosary, because I prayed the rosary with my parents when I was a little kid. We pray almost every night. So yeah, and then I think at PT1 we were praying the rosary also almost every night. And one time it came to it was during Mary Nativity, so on September 9th. And so I was like, yeah, was like, maybe we should do something. So anyway, we bought a cake. So we sang happy birthday. Everyone was really excited. And then later we realized one problem, like, who's gonna blow out the candles? We were looking at each other. I'm like, oh, it's kind of funny. So, those are the moments. It's just like, yeah, it's just a really beautiful moment that I just looking back, and I was like, wow, it's great. And yeah.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, Father, I know that your birthday is, you just recently celebrated your birthday too, right?
Yes, I just celebrated.
Yeah, happy birthday, Father.
Thank you. Yeah, so when you talk about the brotherhood that you share in Edmonton, because you guys have a common goal, which is to serve the Lord, and everyone just carry one another toward that goal. So going back to the vocation journey that you have shared about, you were searching what is the meaning of life, the purpose of life. So I don't know, can you make some connection about that? Because nowadays, right, so many people ask that question, what is the purpose of life? And some people just don't want to answer that question, so they try to be entertained or just go to the busy world and enjoy the voices in the world, so that they don't have to face that question, what's the purpose of in life? Why am I here? What is my vocation, right? So I wonder, yeah, through that whole experience of like taking off a month from work and then discern, did some pyramid and then reflected more, and then went to your boss and say, sorry, I need to go to the seminary, and now you are on the boat of being a priest, right? So do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, so I would say, let me see, like that was the thing that I was searching too. Like what is the purpose of life? Why am I here on earth? Like what am I for? And what is happiness? So that was the thing that I was trying to search for. And I know that it wasn't happiness is not found in money, because I had money, I wasn't happy, I had everything. And so I think from this years of philosophy and theology, I was able to reflect on, well, how like you have, all of us, we have this is also from C.S. Lewis and others too, how they said, okay, you have the innate desires, and the desires usually corresponding to real objects. And if you take a look at, I'm talking about like basic, when you strip out of everything, the basic survival desire. For example, when you're hungry, you desire food, and of course the food is something that exists. And then deep down inside, we also yearning for God, and in our subconsciousness, that's in a desire, and that's something that we, that means that God God exists too. So it's just basically like for our whole life, we're not going to be satisfied until we just we just be united with God. And I think that's the meaning, that we're always searching, and we're not going to be satisfied and complete and restful, just like Augustine say, until I rest in you, Lord. So, and I think that's I mean, I know God is a mystery. That's something that we're learning every single day, and we're trying to use all the possible faculty of reason to learn about Him. But and at the same time, with faith, we're able to basically understand Him a little bit, because like, for example, if you receive a gift, right? So you can tell a little bit about the giver, like, okay, the gift giver, right? So this person, has this certain characteristic. This person likes something, and he gives me this. And the same thing with God. I feel like God has given us many things and all the blessing, and we can see all of His footprints everywhere. And that's what I did in my whole life. I was looking back at my life, and I was like, no, that wasn't a coincidence. That God was there at that moment. God was helping me. That I was successful at this. I was basically I was able to look back, and like, God was everywhere in my life, and I was able to appreciate that, and to realize that my life has been a blessing from God, and there's nothing more that I want to do than just to dedicate my whole life for Him.
That's
Wow.
beautiful.
Yeah, it really is beautiful, and something like really special to hear you talk about.
Yeah. So you like when you decided to enter the seminary, I wonder how your parents responded to to that decision, because you had mentioned earlier, like, your parents were so excited when you finished the PhD and then had a job offer in Silicon Valley, and they so excited to build a house based on your job offering, and now you say, hooray! Sorry. How did they respond to your decision?
Yeah, I know. I think my mom was my mom was quiet, but she was silent. But I know she's supporting me, because I know that we're like, I know my mom like she's always supporting me. My dad, he was worried. I would say both of them was worried too, because I was the breadwinner of the family. And my dad especially, he was like, I want a grandkid, I want grandkid. So I would say it was tough for them, but I was like, at the time I was also hesitating. It was tough for me to decide whether to, like, when to do it. I was like, oh man, I just want to work a few more years, but I just, I don't know. So I remember opening the Bible, and it's say something about, like, you just don't look back. You just gotta go and don't look back, and don't worry. Let the dead bury the dead. So that was, I was like, man, that's it. So I gotta trust in the Lord's providence. And so when I left, yeah, everything was just falling into place. My sister got married. And now, they're very supportive. After, I think, must be the work of the Holy Spirit. And now they are praying for me more, Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, they're praying a lot more for me, and I see a lot of changes in the family. But yeah, initially it was tough for them, but now they turn around and become very supportive.
I see. Thank you. Yeah, I think through the story that you have been sharing, I see through your vocation journey, I see you put your trust in the Lord very often, like the journey from Vietnam to the refugee camp, and then to the United States, and then study, and then left the job, and then went to the seminary. Trust in the Lord is the theme that I see very clearly, and many other things as well. And at the end, right, everything, if God's willing, everything is just falling into its place, and you have certain peace in your heart, and the people who are in your family as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really, really special and great. So, also this year, we learned that it's actually the 100th year of Mundelein Seminary. So, is there like any special events happening there at the seminary, or any way you guys are celebrating that?
Yeah, we're really excited to celebrate this 100-year anniversary. I know that we are so we have mass. I think the cardinal is gonna join us, and we also have the nuncio coming as well. We have some renovation going on, and so the whole community is just like really excited and anxious to celebrate this time together in community, in prayers. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I think you can find more information by going online from our website too, right? Like usml.edu.
Yeah, sounds great. And we would like to thank you for joining us on this podcast, and we will make sure to pray for you and pray for your vocation. And we would like to thank all of our listeners for listening to this podcast. Please share with anybody who you think would enjoy this, and stay tuned for our next episode, which will come out September 30th. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Ben.